Utah Supreme Court has stopped the firing squad execution set for next week over concerns that the inmate being put to death has dementia so severe that he doesn't understand why he's being killed. The court ruling on Friday, August 29th, vacates the execution warrant and sends the case back to the lower court so that his mental capacity can be reevaluated. He was put in prison in 1986 for the murder of a 26-year-old woman, a married mother of 3 who was kidnapped, robbed, strangled, and found tied to a tree with her throat cut. Watch this. They mention Idaho in this report. This is one of those stories that you'll never see in the headline news or national news. Here's the story of Ralph. And you can see at the bottom, he has plenty of appeals that have piled up since 1995.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Max. Our other top story this afternoon, the Utah Supreme Court has vacated Ralph Menzies' death warrant. Fox 13 News political reporter Ben Winslow joins us now with details. Ben.
In a unanimous ruling, the Utah Supreme Court has vacated the firing squad execution. That means it is now no longer taking place next week for Ralph Leroy Menzies. His attorneys have been arguing that he has dementia, and to execute him now would violate the 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. They did ask a lower court judge to order new competency evaluations, as they say that his condition has gotten worse. But the court declined to do that. So they appealed to the Utah Supreme Court, which now issued this ruling. And I'm reading from the ruling: Menzies has vascular dementia, and its progressive effects call into question whether he remains competent to be executed, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court wrote. He goes on to say, "We acknowledge that this uncertainty has caused the family of Maureen Hunsaker immense suffering, and it is not our desire to prolong that suffering. But we're bound by the rule of law, and the law dictates that if Menzies makes a prima facie showing, a substantial change of circumstances that raises a significant question about his competency to be executed, a district court must evaluate his competency, even though it may cause additional delay." Now, the Utah Attorney General's office so far has no comment. The Utah Department of Corrections, which was making preparations for next week's firing squad execution, says that it respects the court's ruling and is waiting to determine whatever the next steps will be. Now, I also messaged the family of Maureen Hunsaker. Matt Hunsaker, her son, texted me back this. Maureen Hunsaker's family members are obviously very distraught and disappointed at the Supreme Court's decision. He did go on to ask for privacy as they evaluate their next steps. And I did also receive an email from the lawyers for Ralph Menzies, who was again convicted in the 1986 murder of Maureen Hunsaker and was scheduled to die by firing squad next week. They say, we are pleased that the Supreme Court has ensured Mr. Menzies will not be executed without the benefit of an updated independent competency evaluation. It has been more than a year since his last evaluation, during which time his dementia has significantly worsened. His lawyer, Lindsay Layer, says he's tethered to an oxygen tank, uses a wheelchair, is confused and disoriented, and no longer understands why the state of Utah is trying to kill him. We look forward to presenting our case in the trial court. Again, though, the bottom line is, with this unanimous ruling from the Utah Supreme Court this afternoon, Ralph Leroy Menzies' firing squad execution will not take place, if it ever does, given his condition, at least what the court agreed upon there.
Now, he has spent 33 years on death row. He was sentenced in 1988, and he was accused and convicted of kidnapping a female gas station attendant. She did call her husband that night and told him that she was abducted and robbed and was expecting to be let go. But 2 days later, they found her body, and she was tied to a tree and killed. What are your thoughts in regards to this news? Leave your comments. Phoenix out.